Welcome to Team Management Fundamentals for First-Time Leaders. You're here because you've either just been promoted or you're preparing to take your first steps into a leadership role. This course is designed to guide you through the transition from individual contributor to team leader. Why does this topic matter? Because leadership today isn't what it used to be. Work culture has shifted. Agility, inclusivity, and continuous change are no longer trends. They're expectations. First-time leaders are stepping into roles that demand more than just giving directions. You're managing hybrid teams, overcoming digital communication barriers, and making decisions faster than ever before, often with limited information. And while the environment is more complex, team expectations are higher. People want leaders who are transparent, empathetic, and empowering, not controlling. The old command and control approach doesn't work anymore. Decisions now happen in real time. There's less margin for error, and mistakes can ripple across the team or organization. These pressures can be overwhelming, especially without the right mindset and preparation. Even with the right intentions, many first-time leaders fall into predictable traps, not because they lack talent, but because they underestimate the psychological and behavioral challenges of leadership. One of the most common is imposter syndrome, the internal doubt that tells you you're not good enough, even when the evidence says otherwise. This self-doubt can lead to hesitation, second-guessing, and missed opportunities to lead decisively. Then there's the trap of situational leadership mistakes, using a one-size-fits-all approach, regardless of who you're leading or the context you're in. Teams differ in motivation and readiness. When leaders fail to adjust, they risk disengagement and poor performance. Misunderstanding power dynamics is another key challenge. Some new leaders become overly authoritative, while others hesitate to use their authority at all. Both extremes can damage trust. Leadership requires balance, knowing when to assert and when to listen. And finally, we see behavioral pitfalls, over-relying on technical skills, micromanaging out of fear, avoiding feedback, and holding on to tasks instead of delegating. These habits don't just limit team growth, they stall your own development as a leader. Not all leadership failure comes from the individual. In many cases, it's the organization that sets new leaders up to fail. One of the most common traps is unclear expectations. New leaders step into their roles without a clear understanding of what success actually looks like. Priorities are vague, responsibilities overlap, and decision-making becomes guesswork. Then there's the issue of inadequate training and development. Many companies assume leadership can be learned on the job, but managing people, resolving conflict, and driving team performance requires structured preparation, not trial and error. Even worse, first-time leaders are often left to figure it all out alone. The lack of support systems, like access to mentors, coaching, or peer networks, creates isolation at a time when guidance is most needed. These aren't minor oversights. They are systemic issues that directly impact leadership success. When organizations fail to invest in clarity, training, and support, they're not just risking the performance of a new leader, they're jeopardizing the culture and future of the team. Leadership isn't a title. It's not something you automatically become the moment you're promoted. Leadership is a skill, one that requires commitment, self-awareness, and continuous development. Effective leaders recognize that each situation demands a different approach. That's the core of situational leadership theory, adapting your style to meet the needs, readiness, and motivation levels of your team. It's not fixed, it evolves. But adapting isn't just tactical, it's relational. Understanding power dynamics means knowing when to use authority, when to influence, and how to navigate informal networks and relationships within your organization. Positional power is only one piece of the puzzle. That's why leadership can't rely solely on technical expertise. It requires emotional intelligence, interpersonal skills, and the humility to keep learning. When you start seeing leadership as a craft, not a reward, you begin to invest in the right areas: self-awareness, communication, resilience, and adaptability. Organizations that embrace this philosophy by offering mentorship, feedback, and real development opportunities are the ones that create confident, capable leaders. Leadership readiness doesn't begin on your first day in a leadership role. It starts long before promotion and continues well after. Building true readiness requires more than good intentions. It's a structured journey that involves training, self-awareness, mentorship, and strong organizational support. Mentorship and sponsorship are foundational. Emerging leaders need access to experienced mentors who can offer real-world insights, challenge assumptions, and build confidence. Sponsorship takes this further by actively opening doors and advocating for new leaders. Targeted leadership training must go beyond generic content. It should focus on core capabilities like communication, conflict resolution, and adaptive leadership, all delivered through a blend of workshops, simulations, and practical tools grounded in proven frameworks. But technical skill alone isn't enough. Self-awareness and reflection are just as critical. Tools like 360-degree feedback, personality assessments, and guided reflection help leaders understand who they are and how that shapes how they lead. And perhaps most importantly, leaders need organizational clarity and support. Clear role definitions, structured coaching, and safe environments for experimentation make the difference between floundering and thriving.